It's hard to believe that November is already upon us. That means it is time for our Veterans Parade. It's coming up. It's coming up soon. So we've got some friends with us from the Veterans and Patriots Coalition. You guys are no strangers, but for those who may not have met you before, go ahead and introduce. We'll start with you, Brian.
My name is Brian Volk. I'm the treasurer for the Wayne County Veterans and Patriots Coalition, and been doing this for a little while.
A little bit. And how about you?
And I'm Sil Wilkerson. I'm with the Military Order of the Purple Heart. It's also a part of the coalition.
Awesome. And we normally talk to you guys about the big Purple Heart banquet. Right now, we're talking about the Veterans Day Parade that's coming here to Goldsboro pretty soon. So, who wants to start and talk to us about the parade?
Right.
Way to go. Well, obviously, the most important thing you need to know is the date. We always have it on the 11th, which is fortunately on a Saturday this year, next Saturday, and not this coming Saturday, next Saturday, the 11th at 11. The lineup will start around 9:30, 9:45. The applications, if you're interested in putting a float into the parade, are on the county veterans page, the Veteran Service Officers page. You can download that and print it and deliver it right there to the Veteran Service Office. Otherwise, they have copies there as well that you can pick up and turn in.
Awesome.
I think we just had a meeting today. I think there's right around 30 to 35 applications right now.
Cool.
But this last week is always last minute.
Yeah.
It seems like somehow people find out about it miraculously. And so there's also information on our Facebook page, Wayne County Veterans and Patriots Coalition. This will be, I don't know how many sequential years, but I think this parade dates back to around 1972.
I was about to ask that, yeah.
And we did not skip a year for as long as I can remember until last year due to the impending doom of a storm that was going to come, and then we never got it. So, but
That's right, I remember that,
if
yeah.
we would have had the parade, it would have been terrible. So
Yeah.
I guess we just were lucky to have nice weather that day.
Yeah. It's always such a really cool parade. There's a good civilian participation, but also a lot of course, military representation at the parade too.
Right.
And you guys always start the parade with a special ceremony, correct?
Right.
Still doing that again this year?
Still do the same thing this year. You want to talk about that?
Well, you can go ahead.
All right.
Let you-
Still said, you got
Yeah.
it.
You got
You're
it.
doing a good job.
yeah,
the,
because
Still's just a pretty face. That's why we got him sitting on the couch.
He is, yeah.
That's all you got.
And the
him.
color looks good.
Yeah,
You know?
he's
And
got the purple.
and I'm really trying to get those Vietnam veterans out
Right.
because
Yeah.
we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the end of the war.
Yep.
Vietnam, and we're trying to get them to get out to the parade. We'd like to see them there.
And there is, we'll talk about that too. I mean, we'll come back to the
Yep.
ceremony, but there is a special event going on for the Vietnam veterans.
Yes.
Everybody can get together, one central spot, and be in the parade, correct?
That's true. Deering Automotive, or if you've been in Goldsboro for a while, the place used to be called J.D. Pike Automotive or Motor Company or something like that. That is where we're going to have the Vietnam veterans meet. We've already talked with the owners there, and they're going to be receptive to having the folks gather there. We have a 33-foot trailer, and we have a 16-foot trailer that have been donated. We're going to do some light decoration on and provide some seats for those that can't walk the duration of the parade.
Yeah.
We're hoping some people will. And we have no idea how many people this is going to entail. We're just kind of planning for a mass, and maybe we'll get 5. I don't know what we're going to get,
Yeah.
but the key is to get the word out there. And I emailed you
Yeah, we just got it before we started.
Okay. Put that out so everybody can see that. There's no sign up. There's no anything. It's just you show up with yourself or with your family. Just understand that we can't accommodate the family riding on the float as well.
Yeah.
We are limited in seats. But we're very excited that I would be there around 10:30, 10:45
Okay.
in that area. But we're just excited this year. It kind of came together last minute. We were at the city council meeting reading the proclamation, and Mayor Ham, who is our grand marshal this year, since we didn't get to utilize him last year, he said, what do you think, kind of put us on the spot, and he said, what do you think about having a Vietnam veterans float? And we were like, I mean, this is a perfect opportunity, celebrating,
Yeah.
like Sylvania said, 50 years
Yeah.
since the end of the war, and so many of those guys just did not get the warm,
They didn't.
fuzzy welcome. So we're very honored that we're going to be able to allow those guys into the parade this year and
That's awesome.
partake and hopefully bestow some honor on them.
Absolutely.
on Veterans Day.
And then we'll circle back to the ceremony that kind of kicks things off for the day.
Right. Ceremony will start at 10:45. Our guest speaker this year is Colonel Teal from the 4th Fighter Wing on base. We'll have several dignitaries up on the stage. We've got a public invite out right now to certain DVs around town, and that'll be by invitation. And then we'll do a national anthem. We'll have a prayer. Colonel Teal will talk a little bit about Veterans Day. Our president or the vice president, one of the two, will talk about the coalition and what Veterans Day means. And then that'll lead into the Grand Marshal will read the proclamation since he's the mayor this year.
Yeah.
And then he'll go back over to the Grand Marshal car, which has been donated again this year by a good friend of mine. I think it's going to be a 76 Camaro convertible, which was a Indianapolis pace car.
That's cool.
We were trying to get a motorcycle with a sidecar, but
That'd have been great.
this year we're going to use that pace car again. So.
Yeah, that's great.
But that starts at 10:45, and that leads right up to the end of that will be the official start of the parade.
Great. The parade is always, November is kind of a toss-up in North Carolina for weather, but I know in years past it's been absolutely beautiful. And it's always a really neat event as just a resident to go to. There's so much patriotism at this parade. Of course, it's Veterans Day. I feel like it's something that's the least that we can do, right? To get to go and participate in. But it's always just a really cool event, and seeing the guys in uniform marching in the parade, and there's always some really cool floats and stuff like that. So.
We'll have some folks from the base out there with several groups represented from the base.
They bring in the fire truck.
Fire truck, if I remember right, is questionable.
The base
they're
got
not
a
sure
cool
about
fire truck.
Yeah, they do have cool fire trucks, but they're talking about bringing out some other vehicles and stuff like that. We'll have all the local fire departments. They always come out in full force. Usually have some classic cars. The marching bands from the high schools are all going to combine into one unit this year, which will be kind of unique.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that. We'll have the JROTC.
I was about to say that, yeah.
And they always have their Jody calls, and seems like they're always trying to do a competition between the two of them, or between the groups of them, to figure out who has the best marching cadence and Jody calls and all that stuff.
But I think that's cool. The JROTC programs, I feel like, don't get enough spotlight as it is.
Right.
And this is kind of like a time for them to shine.
Yeah.
For the Veterans Day parade.
Sil, talk about what it's like to ride in the parade as a veteran.
Well,
and to me, I have my personal opinion, but I'd like to hear his.
As a veteran, it's good to get together with guys that you haven't seen, because this is the only time you see them, once a year, and you get a chance to, during the gathering, while we're getting ready for the parade itself, you get a chance to meet and talk and get together for a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time to get together. And now people are beginning to really show some appreciation for the Vietnam vet. I was a Vietnam vet myself, and I am a Vietnam vet, and the more and more people are beginning to show their appreciation for. Actually, they didn't know about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't covered that much in the media, and but today more and more people are beginning to come out and show their appreciation. So I'm encouraging all the Vietnam vets to come out and feel at home.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, looking back in history, right? Like, my generation wasn't there that time, but we look back at that, we're like, man, that was wrong, the way they treated you guys when you came back. And so I think that, like you said, that is good that you start to see that appreciation for it now a little bit more. But what are you going to be riding in?
Well, I'll be riding, but we also have the Military Order of the Purple Heart, which is part of the coalition. And we'll have I'll be riding with the Military Order of the Purple Heart.
Do you want to be in a motorcycle or anything like that? Anything
we
fun?
have a truck with a trailer on it.
Okay. No sidecar for still this time.
No.
And how about you, Brian? What does it mean to you?
Well, I rode in an old Jeep one time with a good friend of mine, Charles Bullock, and when you look out into the crowd and you see all those people, some of the people you know, some of the people you don't know, and you just get that warm feeling inside of you that somebody appreciates your service, you know. Which nobody does it for that, but it's nice. You know, we ask the military to do a lot of things that most people have no idea what that is.
Yep.
And some have gone places and done things that they'll never be able to talk about. But like Sylvania said, it's nice to be around people who've shared experiences with you, or you have maybe a similar award or something like that that you can relate to. And you know, you get then the parade starts and you see all those people and you're like, quarter of my century I was in the military, or quarter of a century of my life I was in the military.
Yeah.
And you know, this is what it's all about right here.
You
know,
get sent
being
off
in
to
the
do
community.
stuff that people don't understand how difficult it is.
Right.
And then you come back and you probably don't get the resources that you need to get back into society. So that's why I say that this is like the least that we can do
Yeah.
as a community is come out and support these men and women who have sacrificed so
Right.
much.
Yeah, the resources, if it weren't for the Vietnam veterans and the push that they did in years past, the veterans of my time and the guys today getting out wouldn't have the benefits
Yeah.
we have.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's very important for guys my age to understand, is if you don't keep making the wheel squeaky, you're not going to get any oil. And then
Absolutely.
we'll go right back to where we were with these guys.
Yep.
So,
And many of us were young guys during the end of the World War II, and we saw the appreciation that the World War II veterans got. You know, and coming back from Vietnam, they were telling us, get out of your uniform.
Yeah.
Don't go out there, because if you do, people were throwing tomatoes at you
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It was,
And you're exactly right. I never
Yeah.
thought about that. You came off of this high on World War
Yeah.
II, where it was, it was that just hoorah and everybody coming home, and then
and we
you
were
guys-
sort of expecting
it was different for
Yes.
y'all.
It was quite a letdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for what you've done for our country. I appreciate you if nobody else does.
Well, and and that's what I want the guys to know,
Yep.
that this new generation, they are really showing their appreciation for the Vietnam guys.
Yep.
I see a lot of people, like say in your group,
Yeah.
that are really showing their appreciation. Every day I get more and more people that are saying thank you for your service.
That's great. That's great. Well, gentlemen, is there anything else about the parade we need to talk about?
the only thing I would add is immediately following the parade at 1 o'clock, we're going to do our traditional wreath laying down at the Doughboy.
Okay.
We'll start at the Veterans Park and then we'll walk over. And I was talking with one of the managers, the county manager, and she was doing some research, and we went back to, I think, 1972 or 1974. It's in the county commissioner's notes that the Veterans Park would have an allocation for laying the wreath. It dates as far back as that.
Wow.
Actually laying that wreath. We'll have a Gold Star mother there, Christina Cascavage. Her son was killed in Afghanistan. And we'll have another speaker there who is the Mission Support Group Commander on base, Colonel Todd Walker.
Cool.
And he's pretty excited about it. He really likes our group, and
Yeah.
was at the Purple Heart Banquet and has really taken a liking to our group. So we're excited to have him as a speaker there.
That's awesome.
And we're inviting the public down there. It won't be as big of an event as what we've done in the past, but it's still, we need to take a few moments
Yeah.
to pay homage to the veterans and those that have gone before us.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, thank you again both for your service and also coming in and talking today. Again, that Veterans Day parade is coming up. Give them the date and time one more time.
November 11th at 11.
Oh, yeah, it's right. It's
11/11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember that even myself. Without my calendar on my phone, I don't remember anything. So it's November 11th at 11. It's right down there in downtown Goldsboro. And again, calling all those Vietnam veterans, you need to get there a little bit early and go line up down at the you said at the motor.
Well, anybody that's going to go to the parade, I would have you, the Vietnam veterans can go to the Deering Automotive
Automotive, yep.
on North Center, but the parade will happen on South Center.
Yeah.
and you can go on either side because we're going to come down North Center right at the start of Ash Street,
Yeah.
go all the way to Pine Traffic Circle, and then turn around and come right back up
perfect.
the other side.
Cool.
So they'll have a double exposure for everybody
Yeah.
that's going to be there.
Awesome. We will see you guys downtown Goldsboro, November 11th at 11 for the Veterans Parade. And thank you, of course, to the Veterans and Patriots Coalition for everything you guys do to put this parade together. So we'll see you then in downtown Goldsboro.